So we are now up for our second podcast of the day, but that was the story in and of itself. We will get the podcast up for the WrestleMania's preview as soon as we can. We had some technical difficulties with that, where my laptop decided that it no longer wanted to be turned on, and it deleted the WrestleMania podcast that we did from earlier. Once that gets uploaded to Chris's computer, we'll be able to fix it, but until then, our deepest apologies. But right now we're going to do the MLB preview, because we were able to do that for Sports Vortex. We were able to actually sit down and talk, but we spent more time talking about the off-season and reviewing what happened last season than actually talking about this upcoming season. So we figured do a special edition podcast where we'll talk about that's never good. Where we never...
Not on the school campus.
Not on the school campus, no. Where we're actually talk about how's it going to play out throughout the course of the year, who's going to win awards, and basically just cover everything like that, because we weren't able to get fully in depth. So we started off on Sports Vortex with the National League. I figure that's a good place to start again. We don't need to spend nearly as much time on the NL as we did on Monday, but we should still cover it again. So, my question to you is pretty simple. We'll start with the NL West. Dodgers to lose?
Yeah, there's no way.
It's the Dodgers division to lose.
The only other team I really see being competitive, and I say that loosely because I don't think there's much of a threat, is the Giants.
I got the Giants at like 500 this year.
Yeah, I disagree on that part.
There's something about them. I like them, but there's just something about the team that I'm not sold on this year. I posted my article already with my baseball previews, and what I did was I broke down every team's what I predict their record to be, and I'm trying to get that uploaded now. It's just does not want to load. I think I had Arizona as their biggest threat. I had Arizona, I think, winning 84 games.
Mm-hmm.
I had San Fran at 500.
Yeah, I have them above that. I have them in the wild card race.
I have them, if I remember correctly, sitting at 500 even. Come on, Internet. Sorry for the technical difficulties. But I had... That's last year's numbers. My computer's running insanely slow, guys. We're sorry. Technical difficulties. My laptop is just a champ today.
Yeah, it is really coming in clutch.
It is coming in clutch. I had the Diamondbacks at 85 wins and the Giants at an even 500.
That's fair. Maybe I'm a little higher on them, but I see them being...
I'm high on the Diamondbacks.
I don't think they'll, be too worrisome for the Dodgers. The Dodgers have this division, but the Giants, I still think, could make noise in the playoffs.
See, I like the Diamondbacks. They won
an every other year cycle. 2010 they won, 11 they didn't. 2012 they won, 2013 they didn't, 2014 they're gonna win, and next year they won't. It's just the cycle.
It's just the cycle they're on. I like what Arizona did this offseason. I like the addition of Trumbo. They needed a big bat. They got that in him. Mm-hmm. He's been great for them so far this year. As of right now on the year, Trumbo has... he already has a base hit today. He's already hit them a home run, and he's already driven in 6 runs. So, he's doing pretty good for them. I'm curious to see what's going to happen now that he's the guy. Because that hasn't happened yet. He's yet to be asked to be the big bat.
Well, Goldschmidt.
He's still not the big bat with Goldschmidt, but even then, it's Pujols, Trout, Hamilton, then Trumbo.
Well, yeah, but he was on the team before those guys were still there.
Yeah, but they weren't as good. They weren't expectations. With the addition of I'm high on him once he gets back. Bronson Arroyo. He's been one of the most consistent guys in. The only pitcher
That's
over the last.
what worries me. I don't think the rotations, especially with Cobra out, I don't think it's built to last.
Well, Skaggs is supposed to come back soon, or get called up soon.
That's still a lot of unproven talent, though.
Wade Miley has been decent in the 2 starts he's had so far this year.
Can he lead a staff, though?
He did his rookie year.
Do you trust him to lead a staff?
I'm still high on Miley.
If you took him and looked at everyone else's ace of the staff, he wouldn't be in the higher end of that.
He wouldn't be, but he's not going to lose you many games.
But even
he's not going to win you games, but he's not going to lose you.
Even
games.
if he is solid, I don't like the rest of that.
I'm not a fan of the rotation, but I like the bullpen.
Well, it's depending on if people like Ziegler and Addison Reed can play well, and they haven't started the year that great, so we'll see.
I feel like they can do it. I'm not too concerned. Like I said, I like their lineup. They went 500 last year, and that was without protection for Goldschmidt. So, I think with the addition of Mark Trumbo, that's going to be a huge addition for that club.
I don't know. I just think the Giants have I think they're better coached and they know how to get more of their talent. And I just think that'll. I mean, they've won 2 World Series. It's hard to discount their ability to win. I know they don't show it consistently year after year, but I know what they can do. So at this point, it's one of those. I think that they'll have a better year this year.
I'll give you that. I don't appreciate the knock on Kurt Gibson now. Saying they were better.
Yeah, I think Bochy's a better coach than Gibson.
I think that's debatable.
I mean, 2 championships in 4 years to none ever. I mean, it's not the greatest argument, but it's something. I mean, it's more. I have more arguments.
I mean, I'll give you that.
What other sport can you look at a team that won 2 out of 4 champions and say, well, they're just okay? Like this.
Well, no. See, here's the thing, though.
It's
with
weird.
Those teams. They're just a weird team.
I know. That's my point. They're a really weird team. Like they're not like any other sport. They're not like the Heat who won 2 champions. Like, well, they're the best team in the league. Or if the Blackhawks won in 2 and 4 years, they're one of the best teams in the league. They're like, oh, well, we don't have them finishing second in their division. It's like it's their fault because they can't follow it up. But I think they're finally going to start getting it together, and they have the talent. They have the talent to win a World Series. They've done it twice with relatively the same core.
True. I don't know. It's just something about them that I'm not sold on.
Alright, well, that's the fun of it.
It's the fun of it. It's the whole point of the show. Do you see any noise out of the Padres and Rockies this year?
They can battle out for the 2 worst spots, but they're not going to have any. They're not going to have anywhere near the top 3.
So there's been a lot of grumbles this offseason about the Rockies potentially trading Troy Tulowitzki. Do you see something like that happening throughout the course of the year? Maybe a Tulowitzki trade? He was linked heavily, and this shouldn't happen for baseball's sake. He was linked heavily to go to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh God, no, I don't see it happening. Not this year at least. If it's going to happen, it'll be next off season. I don't see them giving up on him yet.
Do the Padres? Do you think they trade Chase Headley?
That's a lot more realistic. Depends where they are. I mean, if they go on like a crazy run, obviously they won't. But if they are where I think they'll probably be, either last or second last, and they're not competitive, yeah, probably. I can see the Yankees again. They had interest in him last.
They had interest in him. We had interest in him at one point too.
I actually see the Yankees going hard considering their third base
is non-existent.
Yeah, exactly.
It very much sums up the Padres and Rockies at this point. It's like, are we going to trade our best guy or no?
Yeah.
What is the ceiling on the Dodgers? With Kershaw needing to miss another 2-3 weeks and then needing to do a rehab stint.
Mm-hmm.
So take him out of the rotation for a month.
Yeah.
How do you think that affects the Dodgers, and what do you have them as like their win total?
My win total for them?
Yeah.
Hovering around 90, maybe like 91.
I've met 92, so we're pretty.
I mean, they had 92 last year.
See, here's the thing. They won 92 last year, and I looked at that team going. They started off so bad, and then they had that, I think it was July.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the junior July, where they won 26 of 30.
Here's the thing.
Which canceled out.
I don't think they'll start as bad.
I don't think they'll end as hot.
But I don't think they'll end as hot. So they won't cancel out as much. So I think like 90, 91.
It's a good ball. That's a good range. I do agree with that. So you have we both have the Dodgers winning the division. I would have Arizona as the 2. You would have San Fran as the 2. So interchange those for our 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
Who do you have worse, Padres or Rockies?
The Rockies pitching is just an absolute train wreck. It's just it's you're never gonna go anywhere with that. So that's why I'll have them last year.
I have them last. I have them at 70 wins.
That seems fair.
With 74 for the
I'd give them maybe
Padres.
like 67, 68. I'm a little less, maybe.
At
that point, it's only a couple wins, so.
It's only a couple wins. I'm a fan of Tulowitzki. I'm a fan of Cargo, and I like their catcher.
Yeah, he's good. But if Tulowitzki goes on like either a cold streak or he gets hurt for whatever amount of time in there, because he's known to get injured a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. So if they lose him for any amount of time, or if Cargo gets hurt or anything like that, they don't have a lot of
a plan B. And I give you that completely.
And considering how bad their pitching is, what they have was either last year or the year before they had 11 different starting pitchers at one point.
Yeah.
They're last. San Diego will be. I think San Diego will be okay. I'll put them at like just a little bit below 500. They won 76 last year. I'll give them 78 this year.
I haven't taken a slight step back.
74. That's
74.
fine. I can see that too.
Slight step back.
Yeah.
Not a big one.
Just think of it. I said 78. You said 74. That's like the difference of like one bad weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like very little things can cause that much of it. Oh, our player got hurt for a couple days.
That's the equivalency of for like you said, Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki misses a week, a 15-day DL stint. That's the difference between 70 and 75, 74.
Yeah, exactly.
So take that for what that's worth. A fun transition. Know how the Rockies had 11 different starters at one point last year?
Yeah.
The 2012 Cincinnati Reds,
Mm-hmm.
you want to know how many starting pitchers they used in all of 2012?
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
They used 5 starting pitchers on the year.
That's insane.
None of their rotation got hurt. They never had to play a doubleheader to the point where
They needed to call someone up.
they needed to call someone up.
They
had
never even
five
gave.
guys.
They never gave a young guy like one little showcase spot or anything.
Nothing. They used a 5-man rotation. The same 5. No one got hurt for the entire season.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go NL to AL, West Coast to East Coast. So that transitions us to NL Central.
Okay.
Who's your team to beat in the Central?
Cardinals.
What do you got them at? I do agree with the Cardinals as the team to beat in the NL Central. But what do you have their win total at?
95 and 67.
We're very close. I'm 94 and 68.
Okay.
I don't see
in that ballpark.
It's that ballpark. They just keep replacing people. They keep losing guys.
They're well coached from La Russa to Matheny now. They always have the same good depth to fill in. They have a pair of good prospects in Long and Tavares who could make an impact to help.
Though Tavares is already hurt again. It seems like he's been hurt for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
But I do agree with that, though.
But yeah, I think they'll be fine.
Last year's number 2 in that division was baseball's biggest surprise, the 94 wins from the Pittsburgh Pirates, a team that in our lifetimes was never over 500.
Yep.
What do you have them doing this year?
Step back, I think they'll have 88 wins. Yeah.
One off.
Okay.
I have them at 89.
Alright.
It's funny because you had the Cardinals at what did you say, 95?
95 and 67, yeah.
So I have one less win for the Cards and one more for the Pirates. So there's our swing.
That's what it's looking like.
So that means a step. Do you see a step back then from the Cincinnati Reds?
Oh, yeah,
What do you,
I do.
How big of a step back? They won 90 games last year.
I'll give him.
Did not look good in the playoff, in the
Yeah.
wild card game
Yeah.
versus the Pirates. And the end of the year made it really closer than it should have been with the Washington Nationals for that last playoff spot.
I think they could take a step back, but I still think they're very talented.
They won 90 last year.
I'll give them 85. No, yeah, 85.
We're one off again. 84.
Okay.
Just so you know, he has not posted for every team. I have an article up, like I said, where I break down every team's projected win-loss record, for my opinion. So he's saying his numbers first. He never read my article, and then I'm going off the numbers I've put down. So we've been basically 1 or 2 off for every team so far, with the exception of the Giants and Diamondbacks.
Mm-hmm.
But why do you see them taking such a step back?
I think they kind of underestimate how important Dusty Baker was to the team.
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
And I also see, some of the aging guys like Phillips and not as much Votto, but Phillips, and maybe losing Arroyo kind of hurts whatever the deal with Chapman is whenever he comes back. Slow start. I think Phillips has a little bit of a down season for him.
I definitely agree with that. I'm not nearly as high on Brandon Phelps as most people. Then again, I've also never really been all too high on him.
I liked him. I just think now is when he starts to hit that wall.
Well, how
even
old is
if it's
he now?
not permanent.
Because my interwebs were not touching my Mac unless I have to. School Wi-Fi. How old is he now?
I want to say like 32 or 33.
I'm thinking 33, and from his style of play as a second baseman, that is something that you need to keep an eye on, because
Yeah.
he's hitting the age where it would be regression. He's hitting the regression age now. I feel better about my laptop now.
Yeah, it's just the Wi-Fi.
This is the school.
Yep, there it goes.
There we go.
He is
34. Wait for it.
33, I'm gonna say.
We're sorry, guys. This is a recurring theme in this room.
He's 30. He'll be 33 in June.
Okay.
So he's 32 right
He's
now.
32 now, so he's getting on the regression age.
Yeah.
So that's something that you do need to take into consideration. He has been regressing over the past, I want to say 3 seasons. His power, RBIs, and steals have decreased each of the past 3 years. So it is something that you do need to look at as a slight concern.
Yep.
They also lost Sin-Soo Choo to the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
So that's another one of those. It's a huge loss.
Yeah.
That also opened up the center field spot for Billy Hamilton to get called up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we talk about him a lot on this show. We're both insanely high on him. What do you see out of Billy Hamilton this year?
Again, I think his stolen base numbers will be there. I think the offense has a lot of room to improve.
As of right now, it is April 3rd, and it's before his game tonight. Or right now that's being delayed. He's currently 0 for 9.
There we go. Case in point.
He's
just
2 strikeouts
frankly-
the first day and 1 the second.
Frankly, just at this point in his career, he's just not a great hitter, and he's gonna need to work on that for him to really utilize his base running abilities. You need to be on base to steal a base.
He stole how many bases 2 seasons ago?
Well, mine was like 166 or something.
Which is the professional record.
Yes, and that's not the major league record, but it's the
It's not the major
professional
league record, but professional record. He owns it. Think about that. He's Ricky Henderson's best year plus Pedroia last year. You're still a couple short of what Billy Hamilton did all by
I think
himself.
Henderson's most was 130.
Well, I thought it was 155.
For Henderson?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think the record's 130 something. But anyways, either way, it's an absurd amount.
It's an absurd amount. Something that would never happen nowadays unless it's,
Oh, really? I'm like, why is this the first name record? I spelled Ricky wrong. There's an E in there, apparently.
Good job, Ricky Henderson.
Yep, 130 is the most stolen bases in a single season.
I was off.
And he got caught 42 times, so he could have had 172 if he didn't get caught.
Think about that. He had 172 stolen base attempts.
Hamilton had 166 steals.
Eddie Hamilton had 166 steals.
I think it was. I'm gonna check that.
That sounds right.
It sounds right. It could have been more though, or it could have been less. But either way, it's around that.
Most people don't even get that many base hits.
Yeah, I know.
That's absurd when you put into context like that. That most a 200 hit year.
155.
That's where I got the
So
155
166,
from.
155, same.
See, that's where I got the 155 from. I knew that number was important. I thought it was Ricky's.
Yeah, but either way.
Either way.
It's still a lot.
Either way, my comparison still stands. Ricky Henderson's best year plus Dustin Pedroia last year is not nearly as good as what Billy Hamilton did all by himself.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the point that I was making though was it's going to be interesting to see how this lineup plays. They lost a couple key guys. Some of their better guys are regressing. And they took a blow in the rotation and now currently in the back end of the bullpen.
Yep.
Win total.
What did I say? I said 85, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I have 84. So, team that finished fourth in that division last year was the
Milwaukee Brewers.
Brewers. Go. What do you got?
Ready for this?
Yep.
66. A whopping 9 total less losses. I see you have them at 74.
I have them at 74.
I do not like the Brewers this year.
I have them at the same. They stayed the same for me. I actually. Oops. I made a boo boo.
I just don't think it's a talented
I
team.
made a boo boo.
I think Braun's gonna
carry them.
he'll do his best, but even now you gotta figure what are his numbers gonna look like now coming off the suspension. Is he gonna be the same as he was with the PEDs? How is he gonna look? I mean, I guess regular run.
He's been on a tear all spring training and the start this year.
The start this year hasn't been that good.
I thought it was.
I think he's only 1 hit so far.
I'm checking that.
But I don't see it. They don't have the talent. I just don't think they have the talent. I haven't taken a step back. I also have the Cubs ahead of them, though. If that makes you feel better.
What do you have the
But
Cubs at?
not by a lot. I have the Cubs at 68.
I have the Cubs at 66.
Okay.
And then the Brewers at 74.
Yeah.
I think the Cubs are a year away from being good. Or 2 years, I mean. Next year
I have them showing improvements here.
Next year they'll take a huge step forward. And then the following year they're going to be... Yeah, he's 1 for 11 with the stolen base. I know he's phenomenal in spring training, and that's what I'm thinking of. Sorry guys, I'm dealing with the head colds. My head's been all stuffed up and I'm just a little off. Who do you see? See, you're not a fan of the Brewers as a team. I like Braun a lot, obviously.
They have a few players I like. I just don't think altogether they're good.
I figure
Segura's good, Gomez is good, and then I guess Weeks is okay.
You're missing one of the people I like a lot on that team. I like Lucroy behind the plate.
I'm not a big Lucroy guy. He seems like he has better than average catcher potential, but I'm not a big Lucroy guy.
Between Braun, Gomes, Sergeia, and Lucroy, I have that team as a 74, 75 win team. The Cubs, I just don't like the rotation yet.
No, I know.
And that's what's holding me back from the Cubs. That and whenever Chris Bryant gets called up is going to be a huge day for them. He is going to be special. And if he keeps playing the way he did in spring, he's going to be a phenomenal addition to that Cubs team. Him with Anthony Rizzo is going to be fun. And even then, have you seen what Mike Olt's done so far this year?
Yeah, he's been doing well.
He's been scared. They scared him. He's playing pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
And he's playing to win that starting job and keep Chris Bryant in the minors. And that was one of those trades that was beautiful for the Chicago Cubs. When they traded Matt Garza, who was doing nothing for them, to the Texas Rangers for Alt.
Yeah.
And who else did they get in that package? Do you remember? It was someone else of value. I know there was someone else of value in that trade. I just am drawing a blank on who it was. God, the Wi-Fi is insanely slow. I know we keep reiterating that, but that's what these pauses are for.
Yeah.
It's not even pretending to go. So, let me try on my phone. Maybe on my phone, because it's the 4G would be a little bit better. This is painful.
It's painful. It's like, just load. I'm not asking you to like load a video or anything. It's just a web page. I'm not trying to watch a movie.
It's not like we're trying to do anything of upper value. I'm on his wiki page now. Mike Alt was baseball career. Alt was traded to the Chicago Cubs on July 22nd with Justin Grimm, C.J. Edwards, and a player to be named later, Niall Ramirez, in exchange for Matt Garza. So he was the only...
Yeah.
I thought there was another player involved. I know that the GM of the Rangers have already said and openly admitted that he should not have made that trade.
Mm-hmm.
And he openly admitted that that trade is going to set them back a step.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really telling.
I can see at the time, because like we don't need third base help. We have Beltre here for at least the time.
The next couple of years.
We needed the starting pitching help, and he was the most attractive of our prospects to trade that wasn't named Profar. So, I mean, yeah, it's not like Beltre's young where he's going to be like the long-term plans, so that might hurt once he's gone. So, yeah, considering you don't have Garza anymore, and even when you did, he wasn't a huge impact, probably wasn't your best move.
And that's more what it is when they even got him, he wasn't even playing that well.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
It was more that he was like, he was an available pitcher.
And they needed a new pitcher.
Someone they could realistically trade for, not someone who would be out of their price range.
Yeah. But
not that Olt's cheap, but it's not like it's costing.
It's not like it's costing them Profar Plus.
For an actual like good roster player, like like an Andrews or something.
So it was the best of what they could do. Yeah, it's still that's painfully bad, dude. Shut your Wi-Fi off and turn it back on. That helped me. But so that wraps up the NL Central. We agree on the top three, disagree on the bottom two.
Yeah.
Cardinals, Pirates, Reds are both of our top threes. I have the Brewers followed by the Cubs, and you flip that for the Cubs, they're Brewers.
Yeah.
So next up we have the NL East, which is home to my bias, the Washington Nationals. Get that nice curly QW on camera. That can now stay there. Who do you have as the best team in this division?
I have the Nats, just followed closely by Atlanta.
Win totals for the two teams. I agree with that, but I know we're going to easily disagree on the win totals
I
here.
think I had Washington at 95 and Atlanta at 92.
We disagree, and you actually have my Nats winning more than I do. I have the Nationals winning 93. Let me say this. This number is not a fair representation of how the Braves are going to do. I have the Braves winning 86 games. I have them struggling out of the gate like they have. I have them struggling out of the gate like they have because their entire team is just injured right now. Mm-hmm. And I figured that's going to be a step back for them. What's going to be a fun series to watch is tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. the Braves are coming to the Nationals to kick the Nationals home opener off. So that's going to be a fun series to watch. I have the Braves taking a huge step back, but not because of talent.
It's because of injuries.
It's because of injuries. And because they're already short with injuries now is why I have them losing so many, because they're still trying to establish who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to build on top of an injury-plagued team. Once the injured guys come back, they have to get into the swing of things. And I have April and May being sketchy for their wins. Like, they're gonna, I'm not saying they're gonna come few and far between, but they're not gonna be as good as they should be.
Yeah.
And I have the Nationals taking full advantage of that, winning 93. I have the Braves winning 86.
Yeah.
I still have the Braves in the playoffs, and I even have the Braves winning the wild card game. It's just they have to get past the injuries at first, and that will set them back a little bit. Now, in the garbage that is the Mets, Phillies, and Marlins, how do you have that playing out?
Honestly, that's the way it is. I think the Mets are better.
Mets, Phillies, Marlins?
Yeah, Mets, Phillies, Marlins. The Marlins are clearly the worst. They have the most potential in terms of future growth, but at this point, they're still a really bad team with only a couple.
How many wins do you got them at?
Players. I'll give them 63.
That's generous. Easily my worst team. I have them at 56 and 106.
I mean, they won 60 last year.
Yeah, I know.
They won 62 last year.
I have them taking a step back.
All right. I think they'll be a little better.
Because
honestly.
in my prediction, I don't know if they're going to trade Stanton, but there's rumbles of it. And if they trade Stanton, which they might, their only player of any value who is on the major league team is Jose Fernandez. And I feel like because of that, they're not going to win anything. I have them winning 56 and being absolute garbage.
I mean, I don't have them being good by any means.
Oh, I know. There's just...
Yeah.
We both have them being crap, it's just to what extent.
Yeah.
Now, you have the Mets better than the Phillies. I do as well. By how much?
A few games here or there, not a lot.
What's your win totals?
77 for the Mets, 72 for the Phillies.
I have 75 for the Mets, and I have 71 for the Phillies. I'm not a fan of this Phillies team. I see them trading Cliff Lee towards the trade deadline and eating most of the contract to get rid of him.
Yeah.
I see J-Roll being traded once he breaks Mike Schmidt's hits record, and he wants no part of this team anyways.
Yeah.
He just wants to break Schmidt's all-time hits record and then get out of Dodge.
Yeah.
So I see this team just being an absolute mess. I like the Mets, what they're doing. I don't think they're good yet.
They're going in the right direction.
They're going in the right direction,
Their
definitely.
pitching rotation is going to be...
If they had Harvey... I know this sounds weird. If they had Harvey, I have them at 87 losses. I could see that he's 75 and 87. With Harvey, I could easily see that flipped.
It's a lot of wins for one pitcher.
See, it's less... I see Harvey winning 12 games, and more... I see Harvey being like an 8-game swing. So he'd put them up to 83, and then they have confidence.
I don't know about that. I mean, I see them, if he's back, I give him another 4 or 5 wins. Maybe not as many as you gave him.
I'm huge on Harvey.
I mean, I am too, but I don't think one player really, especially when they only plays once every 5 games, is going to have that much of a swing on your
But
record.
see, here's
if it was
the
like,
thing.
if you gave him Trout, I'd be like, okay, maybe, because he plays every day, he has an influence in every
No, but
single
see,
game.
here's more what I meant. When you're a losing team and you lose, it's like, okay, whatever.
Well, I know, but they had him last year for the majority of it.
But yeah, but with Wheeler up, with him for the rest of the... He also got hurt right after the All-Star break.
I know, but they weren't...
And that's when the Mets got worse. They were a lot worse after his injury. And I see that working the other way. Him back, he's healthy, he's great. Wheeler, him, next year, Nolan Guard. And Curtis Granderson plus David Wright, they're going in the right direction.
Still don't have any offense other than those two. It's Malik on offense.
I don't disagree with that.
They have like Travis Dernaud and that's it. And I was just reading this. There's like he's on number 5 on the ranking the 5 most overhyped MLB youngsters.
By Bleacher Report.
Yeah. Oh. Billy Hump's number 1. I'm gonna assume it's just because he can't hit himself out of a paper bag.
Yeah, that's the safe assumption. Now that wraps up the AL, the NL. So for both of us, well, how many wins did you have the Giants at? Do you remember?
89, I think.
So you would have. You have an interesting playoff scenario.
If it added up to be the Braves and the. I think I'd have Braves, Pittsburgh, and San Fran all in the thick of things for the wild card. It could depend on like a winner here or two there, which is almost what it was last year, except for the Giants weren't anywhere near there.
Yeah.
But I think they'll be better this year. So if I had to rank the top 3, I'd say probably San Fran and Atlanta would be in the wild card game, and Pittsburgh would be in the.
Well, you have both. Knock one win off one team, Pittsburgh or. No, you have Pittsburgh at 88.
Mm-hmm.
So your playoffs would be the Braves versus the Giants
The wild card.
in the wild card game.
Yep.
And then the Dodgers, Cardinals, and
Nationals. Yeah.
You're specifically would have the. Do you mind putting this in writing? Because I was going to do the playoffs after.
What do you mean, right?
You have the playoff game as the Giants at the Braves. Give us a minute.
Alright.
A winner of that plays at the Nationals. And then you have Dodgers at the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, because I have my whole playoffs broken down too.
Yeah.
So I was going to do the divisions, then do the playoffs, then we can do the awards. And that's going to be the show.
I'm just gonna put Giants and Nationals because I think so.
Okay. So now, like I said, we're going to go NL to AL, West Coast to East Coast. So let's start off with the National League West. Who's your favorite in that division?
What, AL West?
AL West.
Okay. It's a weird division.
It is a very weird division.
Give me the Angels. To be honest.
How many wins?
89. 89. I'm going to say that with the most confidence ever. 89.
I have 91 wins from the Angels,
Okay.
and I have them finishing second
I'm assuming Oakland.
with 92.
I have Oakland taking a little bit of a step back. I think they'll be there though. I think honestly they'll be right with Texas for that 3 spot. And I'm not
I
sure who goes
hate
where.
Texas.
I don't hate Texas. I don't.
I hate Texas. I
think-
hate that rotation.
I think they'll be good.
They have Darvish. I'm done. They have Darvish.
I think they'll play better. They have
Good pitching beats good hitting. They don't have pitching. After Darvish, who's their rotation? Who's their bullpen? They don't have anything. Their best... What worked for them last year was they had Darvish and C.J. Wilson at the back end of the pen, and I didn't get them anywhere.
I know C.J. Wilson.
I mean, not C.J. Wilson. I'm going to say Joe Nathan at the end of the pen. Shutting games down. And now Darvish is already hurt. He's coming back, though, but the fact that his injury was back scares me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that they don't have a solid closer, and they set Natali Felice down to the minors, which confused the hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sold on this team. I have them at 500.
Yeah, I have them more than that. I have them at like 87, 86 wins. Which is where I think around where Oakland will be too. Because I only have the division winner at 89. I don't think it's a particularly strong division.
See, I gave
I think
less
they're
wins.
the only division that have no one over 90 wins.
See, I have less wins from the Rangers, so I have the Angels and Oakland beating up on them.
Mhm.
So I have them both over 90. But that's... I have both of those teams over 90, but they're not 90-win teams.
Yeah.
Like, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9 90-win teams, I realized.
Mm-hmm.
2 of those are fake.
Yeah.
Like, the divisions are so bad that I see those 2 teams beating up on the Rangers, Mariners, and Astros.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the top 3 set, where I have Oakland, you have the Angels.
Yeah.
Then flipped, I have the Angels, then you have Oakland as the 2. We both have the Rangers at 3. What's your 4 and 5?
Well, Seattle, Houston.
Seattle, Houston. I figured.
I mean, it'd be tough for Houston to not be last.
What's your win totals? I think that's a
I
more
have
appropriate
Seattle.
question.
I have Seattle at 500. Actually, I have Seattle at the game below 500.
I'm 2 games.
Okay.
So you have them at 80-82. I have them at 79-83.
Yeah. And I have Houston at, I'm going to give them around 62 wins. 62 wins.
61.
Okay, so
61 101.
I have one more than you. I have 62 and 100.
Well, you have them at 62 and 100. No, it's one short both ways. So, Oakland 1, Angels 2, Angels 1, Oakland 2, then Rangers, Mariners, Stros.
Yeah.
Big question with the Stros, or actually we'll do the Mariners first.
Okay.
They've already made the big signing of Robinson Cano.
Mm-hmm.
They were linked to everyone this offseason.
Yeah.
Literally every name they were connected to at one point or another.
Yeah.
Do you see them making a trade? The big names on the trade market are Stanton,
Yeah.
David Price, who we'll get into in a little bit, are the 2 biggest names. Do you see them trying to make a play for either of those 2?
Yeah, I can see them trying to, I don't know how hard they'll go, but they'll at least kick the tires.
Do you see something happening with them? Maybe like a deadline deal?
Yeah, I could see it. I'm not gonna, go predicting it now because that's just too much time in advance.
It is a lot of time.
But I could see them being interested. I mean, what kind of team wouldn't be interested in those players? Obviously, but I think they'd have legitimate interest, other than just, oh yeah, I'd do it if the price is right.
Now, I'm going to ask 2 questions at once, which I hate doing.
Mm-hmm.
Stanton or Price, and who's the centerpiece of the deal?
Definitely Stanton. They need the help on someone offense more than they would.
Who's the center of a Stanton deal, though?
Probably.
Nick Franklin got sent to the minors, so you would assume they're willing to part with him.
It'd probably be Franklin, either Paxton, Walker, Holton, one of those 3.
If you had to pick.
I'd do Franklin, Holton.
I'm highest on Holton.
Yeah. I think he's probably lowest on their 3 in terms of how they look at it.
Yeah.
So I'd do Holton, Franklin, maybe.
I have a good piece to throw in there.
Yeah.
They don't want him, and he'd be great for the other team.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Montero.
Maybe.
He's insulted them by coming in out of shape.
Oh my god, he was so out of shape.
He was
fat. He was just fat.
He was fat. How many? It was 30 pounds over what they told him to come in
Yeah, I
at?
think so.
Which, that's absurd. That should not
I love what he says. I'm sorry, I was just eating too much on the off season. Like, yeah, that's generally
Yeah, we gathered that.
That's generally how people get fat, man.
And I feel like for Miami to back up Salty, he'd be a good fit there.
Yeah.
Especially because I don't want to sound racist when I say this, but a Hispanic player in the Miami area would be
good
for the team.
It's just
it's good for the team.
It's a more comfortable fit.
It's a comfort fit for Montero, and he could be embraced with that team.
He just needs a change of scenery.
And he needs to get out.
That still seems like other teams may be able to give a better offer, but that's probably the best offer they'd be willing to give. If not, they probably don't want to give more than that.
And I wouldn't blame them in the slightest.
Exactly.
Your Astros.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 prospects. I want you to give me ballpark call updates, if at all.
I'm assuming the first one's Springer.
Yep.
Well, he'll definitely up.
He's definitely up.
That's
we know that. It's a matter of when.
I think June was him.
The Super 2 deadline, which, for those of you who don't know baseball well enough and know the basically the geeky part of it,
Yeah.
the financials, the part that we obsess over, there's arbitration, which you've probably heard about before, which doesn't kick in until your third year in the league. And that's when you start getting big money. But they have a thing that's called Super 2. It's you've been in the league for over 2 years, but less than 3. And you're in the top 5% of players, or top 10% of players in that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
The Super 2 deadline is usually about the first week and a half of June. So, a great example, when Desmond Jennings of the Tampa Bay Rays got called up, he was called up the third week of June, because that was right after the Super 2 deadline.
That's similar to what I think.
And that's what I see happening with Springer.
Exactly.
And I fully agree with that. Now, these next two would be genuine mid-season.
I'm assuming Singleton's one of them?
Singleton is one of them. When do you see Singleton, if at all, getting called up? Guzman, who is the guy blocking him,
Mm-hmm.
played great in spring and has been playing good the first 2 games of the year.
I could see them giving him a little run in like August maybe. I think they'll wait a little longer on him.
I definitely agree with
His
that.
development got stunted when he got suspended for 50 games, I think it was last year.
It was 50 games,
Yeah.
but and I do feel the need to point this out. He was suspended for 50 games under the drug agreement. And everyone's first thought is he took steroids.
Especially because he's a slugger. Not
Not at all what happened.
Yeah.
He got suspended for, do you remember what it was?
I do not.
I think it was marijuana.
Probably, yeah. I know it was. I think it was. I'll look up what it actually was.
He's been having personal drug issues, and he is fighting off those demons, and he is working on it. I want to say it was a marijuana suspension that got him for 50.
Just says second failed drug test. I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
He's still only 22. He's still wicked young.
Yeah, marijuana.
It was marijuana?
Yep.
I thought so. So it's not like he's dealing with...
PEDs. Or steroids or anything like that.
Not saying marijuana is a good thing to get busted for.
But it's definitely not. It's not like a.
It's not a
giant red
performance
flag.
enhancer. It's not he's suspended, this needs to end. It's we can fix this.
It's not like a Josh Hamilton, you have to worry about how his career is going to go kind of thing.
Like, there's short-term worry, but there's no long-term risk with Singleton. Especially because he's working on it.
But again, with him missing all that time in the minor leagues, I think they'll be a little bit more cautious to call him up to help make up for that time he missed. So I'm going to say August.
I see him being a trade deadline call-up.
Okay.
Like, just after, either just before or just after the deadline. So we're pretty much in agreement on that one, too.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be early in August for me, so it's one of those, it's roughly the same ballpark.
Yeah. Now, the last one was last year's first overall pick, Mark Appel.
Yeah, I see him.
Do you see him getting called up, and if so, when? Because he's the only one in my mind that I'm a little shaky on if he's going to get called.
I see him honestly being a big part. I see him calling him up early.
Early? How early?
I'm not going to go out and say if they called him up tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised, but early. I could see them getting called up like sooner than later, maybe even like middle of May. I think they're high.
So, think they wouldn't wait till the Super 2 deadline for him?
No, I don't think so.
I feel like...
Does he even qualify for that if he's only...
Yeah. Because it's just once you hit the majors. That's how the Super 2 works. It has nothing to do with like your actual service time or anything like that. He's starting the season off in high A ball Lannister. And he'll begin the season in the minors. It's very possible he can reach the majors by the end of 2014. The 22-year-old made 8 starts at low A Quad Cities after being drafted in June, posting a 3.82 ERA and striking out 27 batters over 33 innings. That was the write-up through ESPN provided by Roto World. I see him being at least a Super 2 call-up.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is going to be, like you said, a big part of their future. And if you wait till after the Super 2 deadline's over, that's one more year of ownership of him. That's one later year that you have to pay him. And I feel like for your Astros, that's a huge benefit. let's point out, I feel the need to point this out. You're an Astros fan, and so am I. I'd probably say they're my third favorite team. I follow them, after the Red Sox and Nationals, I follow them more than any other team. Mm-hmm. I love their minor league system. Mm-hmm. Between Singleton, DeShields, Voller, Carlos Correa, Matt Dominguez, Jason Castro, Springer, Appel, I love that team.
Yeah.
I have made this joke, not joke, many times. They scare me from 2017 to 2022. Yeah. Like, they're my favorites for that 5-year stretch.
Yeah.
So, we're going to wrap up the AL West now. So, I have Oakland Angels, Rangers, Mariners.
I got confused, like, who are the Oakland Angels?
I know. I heard myself saying, I'm like, there's going to be confusion off that. I have the Athletics, the Angels, the Rangers, Mariners, Astros. You have the
the Angels, Oakland, Texas, Seattle, Houston.
Yep. So now let's jump over to the Central.
Okay.
Last year's winner was the Detroit Tigers, followed by another surprise team in the Cleveland Indians, who ended up winning 92.
Yep.
Detroit won 93.
Yep.
Kansas City, was it 86?
Yep, a big drop off from there.
And then like 66 and 60, I think, for White Sox Twins, respectively. 66-63, White Sox Twins, respectively. How do you see that division shaking out? Who's your one?
Just flip Kansas City into Cleveland. I think Detroit's gonna win the division. It's just
I want to pick my number 2 team so badly.
The Royals need more time. They're doing it, but they need more time.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Detroit, Royals, Indians, White Sox.
I think Royals and Indians are close though, because the Indians may not be as good as they were last year, but Francona is still one of the best managers. He'll get them in shape. He'll get them to win. I give them 88 wins, with the Royals at 91 and then the Tigers at 95.
I actually have the Indians taking a huge step back.
Really?
I have them at 84.
Oh, okay.
I have them as a huge step back. I was never sold on them to begin with. Mm-hmm. I thought that was all Tito Francona at the helm. He's still there. One of their biggest benefits from last year, though, is if you go back and look at their schedule, their second half was incredibly weak.
Yeah.
They played virtually no one in the second half. And they lost their two best, or their second and third best starting pitchers from last year in Scott Kazmir, who went to the Athletics,
and
Ubaldo Jimenez, who went to the Orioles. So, the loss of their second and third best arms, their marquee player, Carlos Santana, is changing positions from catcher to third base.
I think Kipnis will have a big year, though. He'll be able to really step up from last year.
I think Kipnis is going to have a good year. I'm not nearly as sold on Kipnis as everyone else is.
I don't think I am either, but I still think he'll be solidly productive for them.
That breeze is finally making its way in here. I think Kipnis is going to be good, I think he's going to be good, not great. Like, that close under great. Mm-hmm. But not enough to carry them. Yeah. Michael Bourne starting the year off on the DL. They don't really have much offense beyond Kipnis and Santana. Unless I'm missing someone.
Julio Cabrera is back and forth on whether he wants to be good or not.
I'm not sold on him. I'm not going to count on him to do anything.
Yeah.
But I love the Royals team. I think Mike Moustakas has a bounce back year. Mm-hmm. I think Eric Hosmer is going to be top 5 in the MVP.
I love Hosmer, not quite that high on him, but I think he'll be...
I think he's going to be top 5 MVP. I honestly think he has the chance to hit 280 and be very close to a 30-15 year.
Yeah.
I have him driving in close to 100 and scoring about 85-90. I have him being a top 5 MVP guy.
Yeah.
The only thing that's preventing me from taking the Royals to win the division is I can't pick against the Tigers. Until...
They just have too much talent.
They have too much talent. Between Cabrera,
Kinsler,
Verlander, Scherzer, Anibal Sanchez, Austin Jackson.
We can keep going.
We can go and genuinely name their entire lineup.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna pick the Tigers 1, and then the Royals to genuinely by a game. I have 83 for the Tigers. 93 for the Tigers and 92 for the Royals.
I have 95 for the Tigers and 91 for the Royals, so I'm a little bit further gap.
A little bit further gap, and that's fair. Now we're going to head over to our area, the American League East. Red Sox won the division and went on to win the World Series, followed by the Rays, Yankees, then Orioles, and Blue Jays were third.
Yep.
How do you see this division playing out?
Again, it's easy to swap Baltimore with the Yankees. So
I have the same thing.
Boston, Rays, Baltimore, Yankees, Toronto.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. What's your win totals?
You have Boston 93. They won't win 97 again.
I've met 95.
Okay, that's fair.
It should be pointed out that they are the most wins in baseball on my predictions, and the Cardinals at 94, a game behind that, is my second.
I have Tampa at 89.
I'm higher on Tampa than you, but that doesn't shock anyone involved here.
I think they trade Price, so that kind of takes them down a little bit.
I think that they keep Price because they're going to be good. They'll trade Price this offseason, but I have him sticking out the year with...
I think they get blown away with an offer and they trade him.
To who? Who blows them away?
I don't know. I just think that's going to happen. I'd have to literally look at it, but someone will be desperate for pitching and they'll blow them away with an offer. Whether they're overpaying or not, I'm not sure, but for a team that knows they won't be able to re-sign them, they'll take the best offer they can.
I see that happening this offseason.
Regardless of when it is, though.
I see him getting traded this offseason, so once the season's over, to someone like the Rangers, who are in dire, dire, dire need of another starting pitcher. There were links at one point, and this is interesting, there were links at one point, him and Scherzer were both linked to getting traded to the Nationals at one point. That would be interesting, because I have no idea what my team would give up.
You wouldn't really get both of them, maybe one.
No, it was one or the other.
Oh,
but both,
okay, I thought you meant both.
We were connected to both Scherzer and David Price at one point.
I don't think now, because the way your team is with your
the way my team is now, we don't need them.
You don't need them.
We don't need them. But here's the thing, though. Jordan Zimmerman is about to become a free agent at the end of next year. We're trying desperately to extend him. Ian Desmond is also a free agent, and we're desperately trying to extend him. If we think we can't get Jordan Zimmerman, I could see them maybe thinking, okay, what about David Price?
Well, at that point, maybe that's a little bit.
But that's no. But that's what I'm saying is I don't see him being. Honest to God, I see him getting traded to the Dodgers.
You'd probably give up Rendon if you wanted Price, though.
I know. If Espinosa is able to get back to where he was, he's looked good.
But they're not going to want him. They're going to want Rendon, and that's going to...
Oh, no. I'm saying Rendon gets moved.
Oh, okay.
So Danny moves back to second.
Okay, never mind. I was in different...
Yeah, we were on different wavelengths.
I thought you were going to be like, instead of Rendon, you can have Espinosa. That's
No.
Nearly
Rendon getting moved and me still holding on to Espinosa.
Yeah.
Espinosa's looked pretty good so far this spring and so far this year. He was 0 for 1 opening day, came in as a pinch hitting role, started today, and when I want to say it was either 2 and 4 or 3 and 4. He's changed up his swing and he's being more disciplined. The benching and the demotion last year was a wake-up call for Espinosa, and he knows it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I have Tampa, though, at 92 wins. I'm a little higher on them than you for the David Price purpose. We both have Orioles at 3. Where do you have their win total at?
86.
Spot on. 86. Why do you have them at 86? I know why I do. Probably for the same reason, though.
Well, I don't think they're drastically different from last year. I just...
See, I think they are, but in a good way.
Well, they had 185, so...
But see, here's the thing. I think they're drastically different, and it's not their fault I have them as only one win better. I'm not sold on Ubaldo. I've never been sold on Ubaldo. I have always hated Ubaldo.
I don't think he's going to be the make or break for their team anyways, though.
I think a huge addition for them was Nelson Cruz.
Yeah.
They now have Chris Davis, Nelson Cruz, J.J. Hardy,
Adam Jones.
Weeders, Adam Jones, Nick Markakis, who could all hit 20 home runs or more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's scary.
Yep.
And then the other guys in the lineup of, who's their last couple guys? Machado is the table setter. When he comes back playing third, he's going to hit 300 and get on base and get driven in by them.
Mm-hmm.
And...
That's it, I think. Maybe named all the right players.
No, I'm missing an outfielder.
Cruz, Jones, Markakis.
DH. We're body off. I know we're a body off.
Hey, it's actually going to load for me pretty quickly.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah. Let's go to our stats to see who's has the most at bats.
Because I know we're missing someone, but either way, the point is though that lineup is full of guys who can hit 20 home runs, and they're going to be scary. It's just I don't know if they have.
These are right, don't we?
That's right.
I'm trying to go to the game from yesterday.
That's easier. I like the Orioles. I just don't think they have the pitching to make it.
That's what's going to ultimately keep them from being a really good team and just a good team.
Because they have the young guys to do it. It's just that they're the young guys.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're not going to be able to.
Oh, well, this is a really weird lineup because they have this guy in here.
And they have Lombard playing second.
And Flaherty. At third base. So Machado's not back yet, obviously.
Machado's not back yet, which is why Flaherty's out there. Lombardozzi is a former national. I can tell you a lot about him. He is the definition of where do you want me? He is the perfect utility man. He will play wherever the manager asks you to go, and he will play it well.
Yep.
That's the other big question.
So we were missing second base when we said all that stuff.
Yeah, we were.
So that's the only position we missed.
Here's the big question with the Orioles. Let's say they start off slow.
Mm-hmm.
He's a free agent at the end of the year. Do they trade Wheaties? Do they trade Matt Wieters if they start out slow? There are already reports that he's not going to re-sign with them.
Probably, yeah.
Where do you think he goes? There are reports that he'd sign with the Yankees and that the Yankees are going to be the team that pushes the hardest for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see the Orioles wanting to trade him in division.
Yeah.
So who do you think would be a good landing spot for Wieters? I'm not saying what's the perfect package. What's the ideal landing spot?
Boy.
Nowhere I would love to see him go. He wouldn't sign an extension with them, but he'd be a good, phenomenal building tool for them. Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
They don't have a catcher.
Yeah.
They have a lot of young talent and a lot of young arms.
Yeah.
Have a 3-4-5 of, or 3-4-5-6, depending on how the lineup would shake out, of Rizzo, Wieters, Olt, and Chris Bryant, and try to see if Olt can play short or second.
He can play outfield.
He can play outfield, and that's not including Starling Castro, who I see having a solid bounce back year. I don't think he'll be back to what he was, but he'll have a bounce back year. And then that's also not including what's his face, their shortstop prospect.
Baez, yeah.
Baez. So they have a good building blocks where if he was added to them, they'd be a phenomenal addition.
Yeah.
Another team I can see pushing hard for him, and they don't need him, the Dodgers.
They're always on everybody.
They're going to be on everyone, which is why I have them involved.
Because they're one of those, it's World Series or bust kind of.
So I can see them going after Wieters.
Yeah.
And then you look at it as, oh, who's the team of success in this division? The Giants. What do they have? They have Buster Posey. We can match Posey with Wieters.
Kind of.
Well, I'm not saying like that sense,
best.
but it's a match. I'm not saying it's even. I'm not saying it cancels out.
Mm-hmm.
But he does it. He gets the job done.
Yeah, I know.
So, how many wins do you have with the Yankees?
500. 81 and 81.
This is easy. Why?
I just don't like this team. I think their pitching depth is not good. CC
Sabathia, I don't know what you're talking about. He's an ace.
Oh, yeah.
He's the best pitcher in baseball, and he deserves every penny of the way too much that he's getting paid.
I'm not sold on Tanaka. I think Kuroda is at this point in his career is not as effective as he once was. Their lineup's old. Jeter's already hurt.
Do you see the Derek Jeter retirement tour?
They're gonna be
benefiting
like
him?
no,
Benefiting the team?
no. It's gonna be a distraction. They're gonna be trying too hard to win for him. They're not gonna play smart. I think Girardi honestly is on his way out of New York. I don't think.
Didn't he just sign an extension?
I don't think he did. He?
Yeah, this offseason.
Oh,
Because he was linked to the Cubs job, remember?
well, never mind then.
He just signed an extension. He's there with them.
All right, well.
See, here's the thing with this Yankees team. Their youngest player, we've played this game before, their youngest starting player is the young pup Brian McCann at 29.
Yeah.
That's the youngest everyday player on their team is 29.
Yeah.
As a catcher.
Yep.
That's sad.
Yep.
They're counting on a big year from Brian Roberts, who hasn't been healthy in 2 years. And even when he was healthy,
Well, that's what we're doing with Sizemore.
he wasn't good.
He was pretty good. He was good.
At the end, that last year.
Well, not at the end, but I mean.
No, that's what I'm saying. He was great. No, you don't have to tell me how good Brian Roberts was. I am a huge, or was I should say, a huge fan of Brian Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, he's just not anymore.
Yeah. Forget Kelly Johnson.
And Kelly Johnson, yeah. Did you see what move they made yesterday or the day before? They designated Eduardo Nunez for an assignment.
I did see that.
Why?
I don't know.
The only decent young guy.
Yeah.
And they just like, nah, we're done with him.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you DFA one of your better, actual, decent young
He really must
guys?
see something in him we don't.
I think he's solid, and that's...
I think he's just an above average platoon guy. I don't see him as being like a great starter in this league.
I will give you
He seems
that.
like a super duper Bill Hall. Which is
Big Hall.
Which is nothing bad. I mean, Bill Hall was alright.
I'm not sold on this entire team. I feel like the people from New York are delusional, and it's comical to me. We're going back to the playoffs. We're going to the World
Tanaka's
Series.
gonna carry us to the
Tanaka's gonna
playoffs.
carry us.
No, he's
Jacoby Ellsbury, Brian McCann, Carlos Beltran. It's like you realize that it's a combined season on the DL between those three, right?
Yeah.
I love Jacoby. I'm glad he's gone. At the price tag that we would have had,
He's a good
to have
player.
paid
Not
him,
worth that.
Not worth it. I'll roll the dice with Sizemore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll roll the dice with Sizemore. I'd much rather have Sizemore and Jackie Bradley Jr. and roll the dice with that, because we were also able to get an AJ Pierzynski with the money we saved from Jacoby.
Yep.
And that's a lot better for me. It doesn't block anyone because we only signed Pierzynski to a 1-year deal, and we were able to re-sign Mike Knapp.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have that combination than Jacoby.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. He's just not worth it. It's just as simple as that.
What do you see out of the Derek Jeter retirement tour, and if it at the end of the season, the rumbles of, oh, that's right, A-Rod comes back next year? How do you see that playing
The
out?
Yanks are not going in a good direction, I'll tell you that. Because who's their best prospect? Who's their can't miss prospect?
They have a can't miss prospect?
That's my point.
Whoa, I missed something.
They don't have any farm system.
They don't. They have genuinely no
Genuinely,
farm.
who is their best prospect?
Let me see if I can get Baseball America up.
It's the fact that we can't even name him when we know
We're
the prospect.
pathetic.
That's not good. I honestly don't know who their best prospect is, which is never good.
Which is never, especially when it's coming from us.
Because like Betances is okay, but he's not. He should have been good by now. He's kind of a lost cause. Their best I don't even know who their best prospect is.
2013 prospects to watch for the Yankees, so it's last year's list. It's still the...
If they're prospects last year, most likely prospects this year.
Yeah. Oh, while this loads, what do you see coming out of... he's finally healthy for the first time since they've had him. What do you see out of Michael Pineda this year?
Oh, finally.
He's looking good for them. Since spring training starts, he has looked good for them. And that's great for the Yankees.
I see him winning around 13 to 14 games with an ERA around 3 to 4. I think he'll be good, not great.
I honestly think he's going to be the best starting pitcher on that roster.
Sabathia this is going to be his worst year statistically. I think he'll be down to Tanaka and because I don't think Tanaka will be bad. I just don't think he's going to be like
he's not
off the bat.
Gary Sanchez is at catcher is their best prospect.
That's nothing to write home about.
Then Manson Williams. And remember, this is 2013's list.
Yeah. But there's no like huge like, oh man, I forgot about that guy. It's like there's nobody.
Would it be too simple if I just add a 4 there? Is that too simple? Does that work that way? It works that way! I like when things work that way. Just kind of changed it from 2013 to 14 in the URL. No, it was this slow last time.
Byron Buxton is not on the Yankees.
No, this is just the top. This is just the.
It's confusing because it says the Yankees. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Because I'm on the. It's put through the Yankees. That's why.
All right.
Still Gary Sanchez and Wilson.
It's like nothing happens.
Nothing changed.
Heathcock moved up a little bit.
Tyler Austin shot down. Yeah. So like they don't even have a top prospect. And overall, let's see if I can do this correctly. He's the 47th best prospect in baseball, according to MLB.com.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't even have a top prospect.
So look at the top 10. Buxton, can't miss. Bogarts, can't miss.
Tavares, Sano, Archie Bradley, Tajin Walker,
Baez,
Carlos Correa, Chris Bryant, Francisco Lindor. Let's get into the top 15.
Mm-hmm.
17.
Okay.
Nolan Guard, Addison Russell, Gregory Polanco, John Gray, Nick Castellanos, James Taylor, Mark Appel. These are all... Bundy is a little bit lower. Springer's on this list.
Yeah.
Austin Hedges, Alex Minor. These are all elite guys, and it stopped recording.
Stopped when?
An hour and 13.
Is that like... How long?
I don't know. Give us a minute on YouTube. I'm having a lot of difficulties with this. We're using GarageBand. It's new. It's prettier.
Just check. When did it stop? I want to know. Like
at the hour.
Because I was not keeping track of the time.
I'm not even. It's not even letting me click anything.
Oh, that's not good. Well, there was something that just popped up.
Oh, no, it's still recording. It just was awkward.
No, anyways, that was weird.
Anyways. But, like, they have these are all can't-miss, franchise-changing players. Hell, even people in his area of Gary Sanchez. Alan Webster of the Sox. Singleton,
Ventura for the Royals.
Ventura for the Royals. Colton Wong of the Cardinals, who you're insanely high on.
Yep.
Jesse Brittle. Like, these are all still franchise-changing players.
Mm-hmm.
And he's don't have anyone.
No.
And that's just something that's very disconcerting.
And they usually don't have them because they either trade them for talent or they just worry about building through the free agency instead of the draft. They're generally a team who's usually high in the rankings, so not very in the standings. They usually don't get a lot of high draft picks. They spend all the money, the millions and millions of dollars they have on free agents. They haven't done that lately, and it's not working for them.
And they're taking step backs. All their recent big money contracts of, just to run through some of them, of it's doing it again. I don't want airplay. No, I don't want airplay. That's disconcerting.
Go up to the airplay thing. Maybe it's because it's turned on. Is there a way to turn that off?
Airplay disconnected.
It's weird. Anyways.
Sorry, we're just... Does it pause the audio in that stretch? No, there's a little blip in there. We're just quiet. We're just quiet. That's very un-us-like.
Yep.
Oh well. We'll figure it out. We're still working on it. There are kinks. There are kinks.
It happens.
There's always kinks.
What do you want from us? We're just kids.
We're learning. The fact that we still know how to turn laptops on, we consider the accomplishment.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the Yankees so we can move this along because we've been recording for an hour and 17 minutes. With this Yankees team, I just don't trust them. There's no one on this team that I look at and go, great, we can go out there and get X, Y, and Z from this guy day in, day out, no matter what.
Yeah.
Even pitching.
Yeah.
There's no guy who I look at where I go, I trust you, here's the ball, go play.
Exactly.
Like, you look at every team who's a contender. Nationals. You know exactly what you're getting from Gio, Zimmerman, Harper.
I was reading a pretty good article in Bleacher Report also about how like their flaws are really like being magnified with this start and how like see what you see with the Yankees, get used to it.
Get used to this.
This is life for them now.
But like just like some of the other who are the other elite teams? The Rays, David Price. Which one?
So I was left with the sign.
Yeah, David Price, Evan Longoria, Will Myers. Day in, day out, you know what you're getting from those three. Scherzer, Verlander, Cabrera, Kinsler. Day in, day out, you know what you're getting from those guys.
Yep. Pedroia,
Ortiz, Lester.
Yep.
Like, we have question marks. Don't get that wrong.
Like Buchholz, question mark. Sizemore, question mark.
Lackey, question mark.
Lackey's been good so far. So
Lackey's been good, but here's the thing.
Question mark.
How he started in Boston, you could very easily revert to that.
But here's the thing. We have depth. A lot of it. We have great farmhands. They don't.
Like, who's not, another team I'm not high on, who I have at 500? The Rangers. Still, Fielder, Darvish,
Yep.
Chu, Beltre,
Andrews. Yeah.
It's the rest of the team that scares me. But that core guy, like those guys.
Just had to trade Chris Davis. Couldn't have traded Mitch Moreland.
Imagine if they did.
I hate Mitch Moreland. He's not good.
He was more consistent. Crush Davis at that point was a quadruple A guy.
Yeah.
Quadruple A guy, for those of you who don't know, are the guys who are, when they're in Triple A, lights out. They're phenomenal. They're some of the best players in Triple A.
But once they get that call to Major Leagues, like they forgot how to play.
They forget how to play.
Don Brown wasn't going to last
Don
year.
Brown was the case.
Until last year, he's like, okay, I remember now. I think I got it.
Don Brown was the case study of quadruple A players until last year.
Yeah.
But one last perfect example. The Dodgers. Kershaw, Greinke, Puig, Hanley. I can look at those four and go, this is what I'm getting. Freeman, Kimbrel.
Upton usually.
Justin, not BJ.
I was going to say Justin, not BJ. BJ is a mess.
BJ's a mess.
If he hits the Mendoza lineup, consider that a success.
Weird accomplishment.
Yeah.
In that rotation till everyone broke.
Yeah.
That you know what you're getting. This Yankees team, I'm like, the most consistent guy on this Yankees team is probably Brian McCann.
I'd say probably Beltran.
But see, Beltran, I'll give you Beltran, but
He's been good
at his
recently.
advanced age, I can't bank on it.
I'll give him the benefit of for at least this year. He's been playing well lately. Ever since off the Mets, he's been good.
That's fair. That's fair. Technically, since he got traded to the Giants.
Well, it's the same thing.
Well,
He went from the Mets to the Giants, right?
I misheard you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought you said since he was a Met.
No, he was awful in the Mets.
Once
he got traded to the
No,
Giants.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, once he got traded to the Giants, and,
And then
like,
subsequently went to the Cardinals.
yeah,
Well.
that's when he became elite, consistently. Now, the last team we have to hit up on is the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
What's your win total for the Jays?
Let's see what they were at last year.
Last year, I want to say 72.
Okay, then I'm going to say...
Last year, they won a total of 74. 74 and 88.
Give him 71.
I have it close. I have it at 70.
Yeah.
They just don't have the pitching depth.
No.
Their two best players of Encarnacion and Jose Batista. You can't trust them to stay healthy right now.
Same with Reyes.
Same thing with Jose. He's already hurt.
Reyes is good when he's healthy, but he's just never healthy at this point.
He's already injured.
The last good year he has was his contract year, and then he got the contract, and then what happened after he got the contract? He got traded the same year by the Marlins.
And broke. So, I have them 70. I don't trust their rotation. I don't trust their bullpen.
Yeah.
The hitters I like can't stay healthy.
Yeah. If in a perfect world where they're healthy, they're actually a pretty solid team.
When they're healthy and playing to their potential, Reyes, Batista, Encarnacion,
Melky Cabrera,
Brett Lowry, that's a dangerous 1 to 5.
Yeah.
They just can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
So, what would be your playoffs then? Oakland? No, Angels would be your what? Out west.
Yep.
If Sox.
Maybe Angels, Tigers, Bo Sox, and my wild card would be.
You want to write that down?
Yeah.
So we can do. Now that we wrapped up the divisions, just to reiterate this, so we have the same AL East. I have.
So my wild card would be the Royals and the
Rays.
The Rays,
And it'd be the Royals
at Rays.
at Rays.
No, it'd be Rays at Royals.
It's Rays at Royals.
And I'd have the Rays winning that. So that would make it the Rays.
I'm just going to run through the division really quick.
Okay, yeah.
You would be Rays at Sox.
Yeah.
Athletics at Tigers. It's last year again.
Basically.
No,
it'd be Angels at Tigers.
Yes. What did I say?
Athletics.
My bad.
That's alright.
We both have Boston 1, Rays 2, Orioles 3, Yankees 4, Blue Jays 5.
Mm-hmm.
So our wild card games. I have Tampa Bay beating the Royals in the AL wild card game. Your wild card game would have been Rays at Royals, and we both have the Rays winning that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have the same game there.
Yeah.
My NL play-in game, I have the Braves defeating the Pirates.
Okay.
Because like I said, I like the Braves. I know I have them at 86 wins, which seems low.
Yeah.
But most of that's going to come at the end of the year. They're easily, for me, a second-half team this year.
Oh, yeah.
Once they get healthy and everyone gets into the swing of things together, they scare me to play.
Yeah.
And that will actually be proven in a minute when I keep going into the playoffs. But I have the Rays over the Royals and the Braves over the Pirates. What were yours? You have the Rays over the Royals
and Giants over the Rays.
Now, what would that set up for your divisional rounds?
Giants at Nats and Dodgers at Cardinals.
So, I have. Go here first. I have my games. If you don't have to put that much thought into it, I have the best of 5.
Well,
I have.
All right, I'll have Nats in 5.
Just mark. You don't have to mark who. Just mark who wins, so you're able to tell.
I'll just put Nats in 5.
God damn it, Garage Band. I don't want to use. See, I'm just disconcerted because that.
Yeah.
When that pops up.
It's like, what is that?
What is that?
Yeah.
We're gonna have some audio issues with this later, guys. Roll with it.
Yeah.
We're new. It's a shiny new toy.
Yeah. I'll just mark it all down now.
Okay. So while you do that, I'll read mine. For my American League, I have the Rays over the Red Sox in 5.
I also have that.
I would have the Tigers over the Athletics in 4.
I have the Angels over the Tigers in 5.
Really?
Yes.
You are high on the Angels.
Honestly, I have them in the World Series.
Really?
I do, and honestly, it is against
I don't
the
like their
Dodgers.
pitching. I don't like their pitching.
I think they find a way. Actually, no. Yeah, no, it's not to that. I was thinking in my head.
Okay. My National League wild card. I have both of these series going 5. I have the Braves over the Dodgers and the Nationals over the Cardinals. Both of those are going to be fun dogfights to watch.
I was like 6, and I'm like, that'll be tough to pick in 6.
That's not. I can't pick that in 6.
I don't even know if I'm confident in that. I could go either way.
I have the Braves over the Dodgers in 5, and I also have the Nationals over the Cardinals in 5. Those are going to be 2 dog fights. That's going to be fun to watch if that plays out. So, what's your league championship series then?
Angels at Tigers.
How many games is that going?
Oh, sorry. No, Angels at Rays.
How many games is that?
6.
I have Tampa Bay over Detroit in 6.
Okay.
We both know I've been high on this. Been high on them for a couple of years now. I don't see them trading David Price because I see them being in contention.
Mm-hmm.
So I have Price leading the team.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the Rays over the Tigers in 6.
I think regardless of Price, I mean, they take a step back if they trade Price, but I still think they just signed Archer to a new deal. He's going to be really good this year.
He is.
Hellickson, Matt Moore, they have the pieces. I think regardless, I mean, if they have Price,
and that's why, because if they have all of the pieces.
A lot of this
with David Price, that's a World Series.
A lot of this is contingent on Price. So if Price does stay with them, maybe I change my tune on Angels and
the Rays.
But I still think I'd stick with the Angels just because.
Okay.
I like what they bring potentially.
So I then have in another freaking dogfight. The National League is going to be fun to watch at the end of the year. Can we just agree on that?
Yeah.
I have the Nationals over the Braves in 7. It's going to be a dogfight. In my mind, when healthy, those are the best 2 teams in the National League.
I have the Nats over the Dodgers in 6.
So you ended up changing your pick in 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Well, I thought about it, I'm like, no, never mind.
I have the Nationals over the Braves in 7. It's going to be dogfight. In my mind, those are the best 2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Nationals are that much better than the Braves if the Nationals are healthy. And the biggest question mark I had, he has been playing great. I know it's a 3-game sample size.
You gonna say Adam LaRoche?
Yes, I am.
God.
Adam LaRoche, you want to know what he's putting up? He did it again today. Adam LaRoche today went, where is he in my lineup? 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Over the first 3 games of the year, he has been great for the Nationals. Easily, mother. What is that? LaRoche has been great. He is 3 for 12, which is a 250 average.
Doesn't sound great.
He
good.
Huh?
Nice.
He's already has 6 RBIs in the home run.
Yeah, it's alright.
So if he wants to hit me 250 and drive in 90, I'll take it. But if he is able to, and Wilson Ramos is able to come back, because that was huge. He just got minor surgery on his hand. He's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He had to remove a bone in his hand that sounds a lot worse than what it is. Ryan Zimmerman, Jordan Zimmerman, Ian Desmond, and I think Adam LaRoche have all had the same surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a minor surgery. It's just, surgery, so it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the Nationals, but it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
So what's your World Series?
Angels, Nationals.
In how many? I know you have Angels over
in
the
7.
Nationals. I have
Nationals in 7.
Nationals in 7 over the Rays,
Alright.
which scares me as a Nationals fan because that means I have the Nationals in 5, Nationals in 7, and the Nationals in 7.
Yeah.
I only see one of these series in the National League going less than 7, and that's the Braves over the Dodgers in the divisional round.
Yeah.
So now, I have the Nationals, you picked the Angels. We'll pretty that up and we'll post that to the site later.
This is one of those, it's my prediction, but I'm not entirely confident.
What we're going to do is we'll make Chris pretty that up and we'll post that later. So his division winners and playoff scenario.
Yeah.
So let's run through the circuit of the awards.
Yep.
Now, I added one. It's not an official award, but I wanted to give these 2 guys shout-outs.
Mm-hmm.
Who are your AL and NL breakout star? Breakout star. Who's the guy who's going to go, oh, crap, he is great. This is the guy.
Breakout star?
I will give you my 2 first so you can get an idea.
Can I go? Okay, I'll go.
You can go.
Oh, you can read this first. Sorry.
The 2 I have, I've already mentioned one of them. Eric Hosmer, AL. I have him top 5 MVP. I have him as a 30 home runs, 15 stolen bases, 280, 290 average, driving in the 100 and scoring 80. I have him being an MVP threat.
Mm-hmm.
My NL guy is Garrett Cole.
All right.
I have Garrett Cole winning 18 games and striking out 180 to 200.
Mm-hmm.
I know we differ on his ceiling right now. Like, we agree on his long-term ceiling, but what he's going to do this year. I am huge on Garrett Cole this year. I think he's going to easily be the best pitcher in Pittsburgh, and that's not going to change anytime soon. I honestly feel like Garrett, Fernandez, Strasburg, and Kershaw are going to pass the Cy Young around between the three of them over the next decade. I'm huge on him, and I felt like he deserved some recognition because I don't have him winning the Cy Young yet.
Yeah.
But I needed to give him that acknowledgement.
Okay. That's fair.
Who are your two breakout stars?
For the AL, I think Cespedes really takes a huge step forward this year. I have him in being he's by far the best offensive player on Oakland. I think he'll be one of the better players in the league this year.
His average is what concerns me.
Yeah, I think he'll make strides in that part of his game.
That'd be great. I'm just hesitant to give it to him.
Yeah.
But I agree with the rest of that though.
Yeah.
Who's your NL guy?
I keep going back and forth. I'm not sure who I want to really say for this.
You can name both.
No, well,
Because this isn't an official award, so I don't care if you name two. It's like I said, I wanted to give Hosmer and Garrett a shout out in my preview, so I gave them breakouts.
It's not that he's gonna break out because it's not like he's been bad. It's one of those. I just think he'll take a huge step forward.
Okay. Who's this?
Pablo Sandoval.
I like it.
Because he's not bad.
He's not bad.
He's a good player. I just think he's gonna go to that next level.
Well, that's like Garrett in.
It's like Hosmer. We all know what
Cole.
Hosmer can do. You obviously see him transcending.
I see him taking that step from great to superstar.
Yeah.
I would also not be surprised if he'll need to put this on record if that happens next year.
Yeah. That's what I see happening.
And I think that's fair. I wanted to give Hosmer and Garrett credit because I see Hosmer being an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
And I wanted to give him that credit, so I put that. Who is the other guy you were saying? Because you seem to have, there are two guys on your tongue.
No, well, I was actually thinking I was going to go back to the AL.
Okay.
Is what I meant.
Who's that?
If it wasn't Cespedes, I really think Ackley finally breaks out this year.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'd go and call him a star, because that's kind of hard.
Well, I used breakout star loosely.
Well, that's who I see really putting it together.
Okay.
Maybe reaching his potential is a better way for me to say it.
So I will also accept most improved.
Because when I said Cespedes,
I'll take Ackley as most improved if you want to call it that.
Because when I was saying Cespedes, then the moment naturally I'm like, wait a minute, I think Ackley could do it too. So I got when I was thinking of my NL, I was still thinking of Ackley. So I'm like, wait a minute, I have two people in my head. But yeah, I think Sandoval in the National League, and then Cespedes, followed shortly by Ackley.
Okay. Now we're gonna go NL AL for all the awards.
Okay.
My NL Rookie of the Year and AL Rookie of the Year are two easy picks for me.
Okay.
I have Billy Hamilton for NL Rookie.
I have Colton Wong.
I don't disagree with Colton. I feel like Billy Hamilton is going to get his act together. He'll get on base. He's trying to be aggressive. And once he takes a step back and looks at it from afar, he'll fix that. Mm-hmm. He'll get on base and he'll produce. And I see him potentially stealing 70 bases this year while hitting 250 hitting 250.
Yeah.
If he can get an OBP of close to 330, he has the chance to be an 80 stolen base guy.
Yeah.
So, as long as he can get on base, no matter how it is, by singles, walks, however, he can steal 80 bases. And if he's stealing 80 bases, or if he leads baseball in stolen bases, which is what I think he's going to do, I can't not give him the award.
That's fair.
And your reasoning for Colton Wong?
I think he's a very polished player. He's a player who plays older than he really is. I think coming into an already strong team helps ease him in.
It does.
Because
there's less pressure on them.
Not everyone can do it. Jose Fernandez come into a really bad team and kind of make the best of it. So I think Colton Wong is going to be kind of eased gently in, playing in that lineup with the veterans there. I think that'll help him his transition. He won't hit that kind of rookie kind of wall.
Correct.
And I think he has the upside to really make an impact this year for the Cardinals.
I agree with that completely.
That's why I'll give it to him.
Now, my AL guy was another. This one's easy for me.
Yeah.
It's Springer.
Yeah.
I'm not.
The
picking
thing
against
holding me
Springer.
back from him is I don't know how long. Like whenever he comes in, I don't know if it'll be too late at that point.
They are calling him up in my mind mid-June.
See, that kind of
Right after Super 2.
that kind of puts him behind of the person I think, which would be Bogarts, who is an opening day job. I think Bogarts is really gonna. People are gonna be like, yeah, that's what, because we already know what he's capable of, but we've only seen him for a little bit in the last year, and then he had a pretty good postseason for us.
I see with Springer, him getting called up.
I'd love to Springer there. I'd be all for that.
You know the projections I have for Springer.
Mm-hmm.
I see Springer getting called up mid-June.
Mm-hmm.
I see him being called up mid-June, so he has the rest of June, July, August, September. So 3.5 months.
Yeah.
Still being a 2020 guy in 3 months.
It's possible, definitely.
I see him hitting 20 home runs, stealing 20 stolen bases, and then still somehow getting about 50, 60 runs and about that much in RBIs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the numbers he's going to put up might not look as good as Bogarts, but I'd give him the nod because of the time that he'd be in the majors.
Yeah.
And, if he was here all year, pace out the numbers, stretch that out, and go, oh yeah, he was going to be something special.
Yeah.
Though I wholeheartedly agree with Bogarts. Bogarts is easily my number 2. If it's not Springer, it's going to be Bogarts in my mind.
Yeah.
Now another kid who is insanely young is my pick for NL Cy Young.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jose Fernandez.
Mm-hmm.
I am insanely high on him. He's special. You go out of your way to watch Jose Fernandez. And baseball needs that. There aren't many people where you're like, oh, what Jose Fernandez is pitching, I need to stop what I'm doing to watch this.
Yeah.
Like, he has the potential to be on that level of Kershaw.
Mm-hmm.
And there aren't many pitchers who are capable of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to be damn special.
I think he's one. I think he'll be a lot like a Felix Hernandez, one who can only be as good as the team around him, where his numbers will suffer from it.
Well, see, last year
in the win record, the win column, one of those guys who wins awards despite the team he plays for.
Yeah. And that's going to be what happens with him.
Yeah.
Last year, I want to point out, Jose Fernandez pitched 172 innings, won 12 games, had 20 quality starts, had a 2.19 ERA, and struck out 187.
Yeah. That's crazy.
For a Marlins team
That's complete crap.
who has Stanton,
And that's it.
and that's it. They have Stanton. So the fact that he was able to do all that with nothing around him, and he's only going to build upon that, and he looked great in his opening day start because I watched that.
Mm-hmm.
I have no issue taking Jose Fernandez as my Rookie of the Year. Cy Young Award.
Yeah.
Who's yours?
Madison Bumgarner.
We differ on Bumgarner.
I know we do. I'm high on Bumgarner.
I'm high on Bumgarner, just not to your level.
If not Bumgarner, I see Adam Wainwright having a huge year.
Say again?
Adam Wainwright.
Okay.
But I'm going to stick with Bumgarner. I think he's one of the kind of overlooked younger pitchers because he's not like the sexy name like a Strasburg or a Kershaw or a Fernandez or a, Chapman or one of those guys that people always, Chapman's close, but you get the idea. One of those young pitchers everyone's kind of like, oh, you got to watch. I think he kind of goes under the radar, and I think this is the year where he finally puts it to the next level. Garage Man just loving you today. Huh?
It's the airplay. I don't know what that is. It's gonna be interesting to see how this looks after we're done hitting record.
Yeah.
So, who's your? We'll flip the script. Who's your AL Cy Young?
My AL Cy Young?
Yeah.
Honestly, if I had to give it to somebody, I'd give it to Darvish. I think if he can stay healthy, which is my asterisk. I mean, if he's hurt,
the asterisk.
If he's hurt for a while, it's gonna be difficult.
It's the big if.
I think
it's the big if game.
I think I'll give it to Darvish.
If he's hurt, who's your plan B?
My plan B?
Yeah.
Oh boy. I didn't think this one through the way.
You think I'll say my winner?
Well, I don't think he'll be Cy Young. I think he could be in the running. Is James Shields? I think he'll have a big year for
I do have him having a big year because someone needs to anchor the staff for my 92 win Royals.
Yeah.
The guy who I have winning the Cy Young is King Felix. I have the Cy Young winners winning a combined like 30.
I guess my runner-up would be Verlander.
I'd like a combined like 30 games out of my Cy Young.
I have Darvish, but I guess Verlander would probably be my second guy. Followed by Hernandez and then Shields. And maybe
I agree with that.
At the top 5.
Now, we're going to flip the script one last time.
Okay.
And we're going to do the MVPs now.
Okay.
Who is your AL MVP?
AL MVP?
AL MVP.
Mike Trout, for finally, he's going to win it.
Finally going to steal it from my winner, Miguel Cabrera?
Yeah. I think this is the year.
See, and this is what works for you, is I don't have the Angels in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. But I do.
You do. I have the Tigers in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You have the Angels better than the Tigers, which will help Trout out immensely when it comes to that. I still give it to Cabrera.
That's fair.
It's one of those things where until otherwise noted, I'm giving it to Cabrera.
That's fine.
Like, know how in the NBA it's like, no, it's LeBron's trophy until he decides to give it to someone else?
Yeah.
That's when I look at the MVP right now. It's Cabrera's until Trout steals it.
I'll give you that.
So now the reason why I flipped the script is because I know the debate that's going to end the show. Who is your NL MVP? Mine is Bryce Harper.
Big shock.
I have
at least that's fair.
I have the Nationals winning 92 games, led by Harper. I have Harper being an MVP, winning the MVP. I have Harper hitting 30, 35, stealing 20, driving in over 100, and he's going to float in the lineup everywhere between 2 and 6. So he's going to have the chances to steal. He's going to have the chances to be the home run power RBI guy. He has protection around him if Zimmerman's playing healthy, if LaRoche is playing to 2012, which it looks like. I know it's only a 3-game sample size, but these guys are looking like the lineup of 2012.
Yeah.
And Harper will be the catalyst, whether he's stealing the bases or driving the guys in and hitting home runs. I also, on a quick caveat, I didn't post these because that's way too much effort. I have Harper as a Gold Glover this year. Like, I have Harper living up to the potential. Is he going to put up Trout numbers?
Probably not.
Probably not. But I don't have someone winning or putting up those good numbers on an elite team. Because all the elite teams, to me, in the National League are multiple guys. There is no Harper catalyst for the other elite teams in the National League. And due to that, I will give my MVP vote to Bryce Harper. Who is yours?
Paul Goldschmidt.
Gold
Now,
is a good one.
While he may not be on the best team, and frankly, I don't even have them making the playoffs.
Which is what hurts Goldie.
Which is what hurts him. But I think his numbers will be one of those where it's kind of hard to ignore.
I get
And the
that.
fact that, I mean, they're not going to be a bad team by any means. I'm not saying they're going to get like 60 wins. They'll be like in the thick of things till the end.
I have them just missing.
I just have the Giants just beating them out a little bit.
I have them just missing. I have them at 95 wins and just out.
Yeah.
Well, for my standing purposes, if they won one more and the Braves lose one more, that's how close I have it.
Yeah. But I think he can put up reasonably. I think he can hit for about 300. Maybe give a point there, just hover around 300. I think he has 40 to 45 home run potential, and maybe 45 maybe on the high end, but I think he has at least 40 home run potential. Driving about 120.
Well, you do have him and Trumbo as the leading power combo in baseball this year.
See, the thing with me versus him and Bryce, I see him hitting for a higher average. He has more power. I think only for more home runs, and I guess in turn that might lead to more RBIs. I guess the RBIs are the one that could kind of go either way.
Correct.
Everywhere else, I guess you could give it to Bryce.
And that's what it is.
And he plays for a better team. But I think if you're looking at if it's just the most valuable to their team, I think Goldschmidt's in this season's going to mean a lot more to this team.
I do feel the need to point this out, by the way, when I said no one has the catalyst that Harper does on the elite teams. I did forget McCutchen, but I feel like Harper's numbers up and down the board will be better than McCutchen. I've been having more home runs, more RBIs. McCutcheon might have the stolen bases, but the lineup around Harper is going to give him more runs and RBIs.
Yeah.
And I feel the need to throw that out there because I did not mention McCutcheon as a home run, stolen base.
It'll be close.
It's going to be close. I'm going to give it to Harper. But like I said, the reason why I give it to Harper is because more wins, better team.
Yeah.
And that's... When all things are even, I give the vote to the better team.
Yeah.
And that's what the issue is with Harper over Goldie or over McCutcheon. It's just what the teams have around them.
Yeah.
But we've been recording for an hour and 45 minutes. We just hit all the awards. We just did all the divisions, which is what we promised we would do. We said we would do this during Sports Vortex on Monday, but that didn't happen. We spent too much time reviewing last season. So an hour and 50 minutes of this podcast and YouTube show. Hopefully the audio is going to work on the podcast.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're not going to have to rip the audio off off the video recordings for two of them.
Yeah.
Because I'm still bitter that the wrestling one broke. But that wraps it up here. As a quick sweeping recap, I have the Nationals winning the World Series. He has the Angels. I'm not going to break down all the awards. I just want to reiterate our two World Series picks. I have Nationals over the Rays in 7. He has Angels over the Nationals in 6, was it? 7. Well, Chris will fancy that up. We'll make him post that to the site tonight so he can have his playoffs and award predictions up, so we can have all that up so we can go back and mock us later. Remember, we will be doing a Sports Vortex is going to get bumped this week to Cobra's Corner's new wrestling show. It's WrestleMania Fallout on Monday, so that's going to get taken over. We're probably going to actually just do 2 episodes of Cobra's Corner's new wrestling show because we're going to want to do Fallout from...
There's going to be a lot to talk about.
But what we will do, no matter what happens, we're going to have a lot to talk about. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the radio show's time devoted just to wrestling.
Yeah.
We are not going to ignore Sports Vortex. Mm-hmm. We're going to do this again. We're going to come back in here. We're going to come back into the wonderful study of towers.
Yeah.
And we will do a couple special edition podcasts where we'll hit up what happened in sports in that week for Sports Vortex. It's just instead of it being the radio show and being the Monday from 4 to 6, it's going to be probably Wednesday.
Yeah.
It'll be posted sometime Wednesday, so it'll be posted by Wednesday night. So that will get bumped. Be on the lookout for a WrestleMania special podcast because we might do an instant reaction one on Sunday night. We're still trying to work that out, but we're gonna take care of that. Mm-hmm. But we have a lot of new stuff coming up. I will have my WrestleMania article up, hopefully by tonight. If not tomorrow, it will be up before Mania. We will give WrestleMania picks before WrestleMania. We already did on the show, but we will post one in article form. And like we said for the wrestling podcast that got deleted, so I want to get this out. Now that the sport hangover from Super Bowl to now is done, all of our content's on the upswing. Articles will be posted more frequently, a lot of special edition podcasts. We'll be doing this a lot more. Once summer comes, we're not over.
Yeah.
We live close to each other. We're going to continue doing this in the summer. This isn't school's out, we'll see you in September. No, this is something that we're going to be able to keep doing. We're still trying to hammer out the details on when. We already know the where. The where was easy. We already have that. We're buying a microphone so for better sound quality probably tomorrow, which is going to be wonderful. So we're going to have all this up and running, and it's going to be a lot better. We'll figure out what the hell GarageBand is doing.
Yeah.
Which will be wonderful for the podcast. But we'll have all the new content up one last time because I keep forgetting to do this at the beginning of the show because we're not radio mics in our face. I am your host, Jason Lilley. You can follow me on Twitter at JLilley33. That's Lilley. To my left, your right, I think that's going to play out that way. Chris Hudson. You can follow him on Twitter at @chudson_22. This is Cobra's Corner, and we're going to have some fancy, fill up this green space behind us next time, where we'll have
a banner
or something. We're going to work on that. But we are Cobra's Corner. We're going to call this Sports Vortex.
Okay.
That's what this was.
Okay.
This was a Sports Vortex podcast.
I'm confusing myself with this.
Cobra's Corner is the brand, and the show was Sports Vortex. So this is the Monday Night Raw of the WWE.
Okay.
Cobra's Corner is WWE. It's the flagship. It's the brand.
Yep.
Cobra's Corner's new wrestling show is the Monday Night Raw.
It's basically ESPN presents Baseball Tonight.
Yeah, that's what this is. This was basically our Baseball Tonight podcast.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing I wanted to do. YouTube, podcast listeners, however you're here, to quote Colin, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, we need suggestions. We want some suggestions. We want to name these segments. So when we're talking about the baseball podcast, when we're doing all of these special things, we kind of want to have it be. We want it to be special.
Yeah. So
we're gonna open the floor to you guys. If you guys can give us any names for what you'd like to hear these shows be called. So the Special Edition Baseball Podcast. We have Sports Vortex as the show name. What would you like to hear the podcast be called? If it's just about baseball. Wrestling, Special Edition, whatever. We want to hear you guys out. So tweet us at Cobras_Corner suggestions for names. But to finish doing the run-through of the shameless promotion, follow us on Twitter and at Instagram at Cobras_Corner. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/CobrasCorner. Subscribe to the YouTube channel just search Cobra's Corner on YouTube. Filter by channels, we're the first one that pops up. And as always, check out our website, www.cobras-corner.com. We will be live Monday from 4 to 6 on WDJM for Cobra's Corner's new wrestling show, where we'll be, we already started reviewing WrestleMania. As always, we hope to catch you guys then. See you guys Monday.
Catch you guys later.
I cannot wait to hear what that sounds like.
It's gonna be a lot of, and bye YouTube. My pick to win this is